It's time for our daily dose of Cope, and we have Panthero Blackstone at the news anchor's desk for the Leopards News Network. There are so many stories to get to, and we have a serious anchor for serious times. We're going to start with this article from Bloomberg. It says young voters who swung right are already regretting it. Trump convinced voters under 35, especially men, to give him a chance. They are souring on what they see. And honestly, every day that I wake up, I hope that they feel the impact of their vote. Every single day, that is my petty prayer. One of the most surprising data points from Donald Trump's 2024 victory was his strength among young voters, a demographic that is typically a core part of the Democratic base. In 2020, Joe Biden won this age group 18 to 29 by 24 points. Yet in 2024, Trump closed the gap with former VP Kamala Harris, winning this same group by just 4 points. Now, a Pew Research Center poll shows Trump steadily losing ground with a larger young cohort, revealing weaknesses in the very group that helped him win in November. In February, Trump had a 92% approval rating among voters under 35 who cast a ballot for him. Since then, his approval rating has slumped to 69%, a loss of 23 percentage points, which is the largest drop of any age group among Trump's voters. This graph is showing his approval ratings in the various age cohorts. This blue line right here is 18 to 34-year-olds. So you see the line is going down. I'm no mathematician, but I know that going down is probably bad. But that is where they are because maybe young people are being impacted by this economy. You see the red line is the 65-year-olds. So he still has a higher percentage of approval amongst the older people. The black line, yes, it has dipped. Those are 35 to 49-year-olds. That has definitely dipped, but not as dramatically as the blue line. The gains Trump made in 2024 were due to his strength among young men, with a majority backing Biden in 2020 and then switching to Trump 4 years later. 56% backed Biden in 2020, 56% backed Trump in 2024. Trump did this by marshaling support among key figures in the manosphere, promising a masculinist agenda and administration where men didn't have to apologize. Backing Trump was, for some young men, a vote for traditional masculinity. Some focus group participants said it was essentially a vote to make men great again. And now we're seeing what is going on in the economy, and we're seeing the divergence of the dating arena where women are just like repelled. I wonder how things are going to go along with the rest of this year and into the midterms if we all still get a vote. Here is a tweet from QE Infinity. It says, are any of you in favor of a government-controlled economy? Because that's where we're headed. Fed control now gone, tariffs controlling what our goods cost, government buying companies, National Guard deployed, out of control government spending. This isn't what I voted for. I bet this is a man as well. SW responds, Trump's only real accomplishment in his first term was huge tax cuts for corporations and the top 10% and small tariffs, and he promised to do the same thing, only bigger the second time around. Why did you vote for him again? And then QE Infinity says, I thought Kamala was worse. Jay Galt says, I have a very, very bad feeling something big is about to happen. And then QE says, it feels like something is going to break. Maybe it takes a year. Who knows? Yes, we're about to have shelves that do not have as much food. People are losing their homes. It's about to get really ugly out there. This was a post in the You Voted For That subreddit. It says, Sharon Giesling of London, Ohio, is a family farmer who voted for Trump. Now her farm is deep in the red and she can't pay her debts. Giesling hopes that Trump will force other taxpayers to bail out her and her farm. So we have a few excerpts from this article. It says, there's been nights where I've just laid in bed and cried because I don't know where it's going to come from, said Sharon Giesling, who with her husband Robert owns 300 acres on the Giesling farm in London, Ohio. This year has been one of them. It's been very tough. The Gieslings say there were hopes that input costs would come down this year as the economy got a hold on inflation, and that they were hopeful President Trump's second term would usher in more favorable rules and regulations for farmers, including the passage of a new farm bill. I want to remind us all that I think that Farmers for Trump is one of the dumbest MAGA cohorts, one of the dumbest MAGA voting blocks. They are dumb because they're getting it on the front end and the back end and how they sell their products. These people are the dumbest MAGA. This one made me sigh out loud. It says, while both still support Trump, they continue to struggle economically. My farm credit girl, I looked at her with tears in my eyes, and I'm like, we can't pay back our operating loan, Giesling said. While both still support Trump. So they would do this again. They would totally do this again. And this is the reason why I have 0 F's to give. Like my field of F's is barren for people like this because they would totally do this again to themselves. Back in April, when he was talking about Liberation Day, liberating people from their money and obviously their farms, or Liquidation Day, where we're liquidating people's money, Donald Trump said, only the weak will fail. And that's going to be these people. That's what he thinks of these people. He is unwilling to actually help Americans. So many people are going to lose their businesses, their homes, and all of their livelihoods because they voted for Donald Trump. And like this sign says, you voted red, I voted blue. Don't complain now. This shows on you. So that's where it is. They voted this in and now they get to deal with it. The rest of us get to deal with it as well. But some of us had the common sense to at least try to brace for some of this, the people that could. The hardcore MAGA, they're too dumb to even brace for what's coming. So I hope that it hits them first and worse. Let's move into Florida. We know that Florida is hardcore MAGA. We also know that Florida is dependent on tourism, and the way Trump came out the gate threatening to annex Canada, starting up trade wars, putting tariffs on everybody. Other countries don't want to come here. The way he has weaponized ICE too, and the way he is detaining people that come over here. He has made it so that people shouldn't want to come here. I say stay away. Stay away from here. We don't deserve tourist money. So this article from MoneyWise says, Florida beach cities, ghost towns. Local businesses down 30% this summer. Has the Sunshine State lost its appeal forever? With over 825 miles of sandy beaches, Florida's reputation as the perfect summer holiday destination has always been considered unshakable. But this year, some business owners along the coast say the typical summer boom failed to materialize. Spring break really never happened for us, and then the summer swing never happened for us, says Kirsten Smale, a marine educator for Dolphin Quest, told ABC Action News. It's a ghost town, confirmed Amber Simmons, general manager at Pirates Pub and Grub. It's the slowest year we've had since 2020. Angela Wilson from Mad Beach Water Sports told reporters business is down as much as 30% for some of her peers. However, from a bird's eye view, the Sunshine State's tourism economy seems as robust as ever. The state welcomed 41.2 million visitors in the first quarter of the year, which is flat from the same quarter last year, according to Visit Florida data. The disconnect between these headline figures and the experience of business owners comes into sharper focus when you zoom in on the changing tourism mix, not just in Florida, but across the country. Changing tourism mix. A key factor dragging business for some Gulf Coast tourist destinations is the lack of foreign arrivals, particularly from Canada. Canadian visitors, long a lifeline for Florida's Gulf Coast, are pulling back as diplomatic tensions rise and border crossings plunge as the Trump administration ramps up its trade war and diplomatic spat. The so-called snowbirds from the north are changing their travel plans. The number of Canadians taking road trips across the U.S. border dropped 37% year over year in July, according to Statistics Canada. Air travel was down 26% over the same period. This was the 7th consecutive month of declining tourism from Canada. As a result, U.S. tourism is becoming more domestic. Nearly 92% of arrivals in Florida during the first quarter were U.S. residents, according to Visit Florida. This could be why some spots that rely heavily on Canadian snowbirds and international travelers are seeing a steep decline in business, while the headline numbers for the state's visitors remain robust. So this is going to continue to decline, especially as tariffs and our economy jack up Americans. I live in Nevada, and Las Vegas is dead has been trending for a little while, but there's something else also going on in this state. Nevada does not have state taxes. So, with the way they want to cut Medicaid and gut SNAP, families are really struggling here in Nevada. So I'm going to play this clip. Yes, we've been talking about how tourism is down. Tourism is down just like it is in Florida. But there are so many people that are not being talked about, like these food insecure people. Nevada also went red. Nevada did vote for Donald Trump. So many of them did kind of usher this in, and not just in the Vegas area, but the wider Nevada. All right, so go ahead and watch this video clip.
A CBS News analysis of consumer prices shows some food staples like ground beef and white bread are up more than 40% compared to pre-pandemic prices. The high cost and federal government subsidy cuts have made the nation's food insecurity crisis worse. In tonight's In Depth, CBS's Andres Gutierrez reports on the struggle to put food on the table.
If I'd have went to the store, I got almost $200 worth of groceries right here.
Army veteran Irving James Sr. never pictured himself in a food pantry. But with a fixed income and rising grocery prices, he had no choice.
You go to these stores now, a pack of toilet tissue costs you $8, and it used to be $5.
Most of the food at Helping Hands of Vegas Valley comes from 3 Square, a nonprofit that supplies nearly every major pantry in southern Nevada. Beth Martino is president and CEO.
We're already hearing from our partners that they're feeling the strain of rising demand, more people coming in the door needing help.
Pressure grows by the day. The recently passed tax law, also known as the Big Beautiful Bill, significantly changes the SNAP program, formerly known as food stamps. Some states will pick up much more of the cost, and there are new, stricter requirements for recipients.
In a state like Nevada, we have very few options to raise more revenue to meet the financial demands of a program like SNAP and Medicaid. So the future for a lot of those people is very uncertain.
The warehouse at 3 Square felt the pinch back in June with smaller pallets.
We were facing a real crisis with not having enough food on our shelves to meet the need.
According to 2024 data, about 1 in 7 southern Nevada residents is food insecure, not knowing where their next meal is coming from. And among children in the region, 22% are food insecure, up from nearly 18% the year before.